Welcome to the PowerUp by GOGI 5-second light switch meeting. I'm Coach Catherine. I'm the Train the Trainer specialist, and I'll be your coordinator today. Coach Johnny Howe is facilitating this PowerUp series along with me. GOGI's intention is to support the growth of PowerUp community meetings anywhere and everywhere they are desired. Joining us today are GOGI coaches, G-reps, students, GOGI mom, who have made the study of GOGI a priority, and you a priority along with them, so you can experience GOGI every day. We also have with us today special guest, Coach Taylor. You may know her as the founder of GOGI. Get us started, Coach Taylor.
So if you have this book or a manual or even a handout or anything that might look like this, that's cool because you have the material you need to follow through with this meeting. However, if you don't have it, that's okay because we're going to make it easy for you. Now, if you know 5-second light switch, you also know that we hold this meeting on the 3rd week of January, the 3rd week of April, the 3rd week of July, and the 3rd week of October. So we keep with our calendar and we hold the meetings during that time. But if it's not during that time on your calendar, don't worry about it. We're happy you're here. Join us and go to the calendar whenever you can. All right, Johnny?
Thank you, Coach. Can you give a quick review of 5-second light switch?
Of how it got started, how we, how it got added to our toolbox. Well, 5-second light switch was one of the very first tools to get added. I was at Terminal Island Federal State Prison in San Pedro, and we were sitting on the cool tile floor of the gymnasium / chapel / workshop, whatever, multipurpose room. And we were talking about the neurons in the brain and how they make habits and they get accustomed to just going away that we feel is comfortable for us. And in my research as a psychology student, I would come back to our group and talk about how at any time we can change those neurons. We could set them down another path, which may feel uncomfortable at first, but we can create that habit too. It's all about neurological habits. And one guy said, oh, well, kind of like the wiring in a house. And I said, tell me what you mean. He had been a contractor. He said, well, if I want something to light up, I take a wire to it and then I put a switch on it. And one guy said, well, that's what I do with my brain. I just flip the switch. So our discussions came out of talking about the brain's neurology and how we can at any point change one neurological habit to in the next when we flip our switch.
Thank you so much. At this time, we'll pass it to Robert to do the to start the meeting.
Good morning, everyone. So start your meeting. The GOGI tools are studied worldwide according to the GOGI calendar of study. We unite with others according to the schedule, so no one will feel they are alone in their effort to make positive decisions. We believe in everyone's ability to benefit from this positive community of individuals united on the GOGI calendar of study. Therefore, we call this PowerUp, 5-second light switch meeting to order, and we join in the tool being studied by GOGI students everywhere. Now, I'm going to review the tools, starting with Boss of My Brain. Moving on to belly breathing, then 5-second light switch, positive thoughts, positive words, positive actions, claim responsibility, let go, forgive, what if, reality check, and ultimate freedom. The PowerUp purpose. The objective of PowerUp community meetings is to reinforce the use of the GOGI tools and support positive community experiences. We accomplish our objective through the study of the GOGI tools shared in peer mentor circles according to the GOGI calendar of study.
So at this time, we're going to do a quick check-in. So those of you may know, and if you're watching, like I get to take my first vacation to Mesquite, Nevada, the amazing GOGI mailroom out there and GOGI office. So when we check in today, I want you to check in. I want to invite you to check in as a vacation spot. So if you think about a vacation spot and how you feel right now, what would that look like? So for myself, I'm going to say Mesquite, Nevada. Like I'm excited. I get to ride a horse or two, maybe at the same time. Get to do some GOGI work while I'm there and get to spend time with my wife and Coach Taylor and some of the people in the mailroom that I haven't met or maybe only met one time. So I'm going to check in as Mesquite, Nevada, warm and hot and amazing.
It flew to my place of birth. It's a little place called Villa Juarez. It's in Durango. It's surrounded by a lot of mountains. It's hidden away. There's a river. There's good fishing. There's a lot of family, good cooking. It just warms my heart to think about it. It makes me feel happy. It makes me feel comfortable, and that's exactly where I'm at right now. So I'd like to check in as Durango, Mexico.
I'm gonna go with the river too. Being from Oregon, the Rogue River, and the reason is the ebbs and flows. Some of the parts are really exciting and fast flowing, and then there's that calm, and then like I don't know if any of you have been on an inner tube or on a gone down rapids in on a mattress or some kind of flotation device, but I just have very fond memories of that. I love being on the water, and that's kind of like how things are right now in my life. And it's not, it's a great learning opportunity to experience life and all its up and downs. So, yep, Rogue River.
Hi, everybody. Thank you. Well, I think the vacation spot I'm thinking of would be Maui. I had the opportunity of visiting it last year, and I have to tell you, it was a choice I made in a matter of minutes to take my daughter and myself and my nephew, and I didn't want to leave. I wanted to live there. I was thinking, how could I make that happen? But of course I couldn't. I had to return back to work. But it was just so beautiful, so peaceful, so much space, and I think that's what I really loved about it. I even came back and they nicknamed me Mauia. So you can imagine, I came back wearing Hawaiian clothes and listening to Hawaiian music. But that's where I would be if I was a vacation spot.
Well, for me, it would be Australia. I've wanted to go there since I was 5 years old. Never made it, and now with a felony, I can't because they don't let people with felonies in. So I guess I have to live Australia through GOGI. But I like the accents, and I like the heat, and just everything about it has always been a dream that I guess isn't going to happen, but that's okay. There's lots of other beautiful places. But in my mind, I'm in Australia right now.
This maybe isn't really an exact spot, but I have conducted a lot of sewing and machine embroidery retreats in Bear, California, in Temecula, California, and different places. And since I'm having to pack up my room because we're moving, I almost feel like I'm packing and getting ready to go on a retreat because I'm saying, what do I need here and what do I need there? And I got to keep all the stuff for the masks that I'm making here. I better not pack it up or I'll never find it again. And I'm very creative, and that's what I enjoy. And instead of being stressed, I'm trying to look at everything I have and remember all the stuff I've done. And I would like to share that my son apparently is a little creative. He does beadwork, and he sent me this beautiful bracelet that's Mom Carolyn, because I told him, Coach Taylor said I could name myself that. And the great thing about it on this, it's magnetic. Let's see if I can do this. See, it just jumps. I don't have to twist it or clip it or anything. So even though I'm real stressed this week, I'm trying to calm myself down with all the times I've been different places teaching sewing and embroidering. So kind of a vacation.
I have never been. I hope that one day I will be there. I've always wanted to go to the Mediterranean. I think it just would be something phenomenal to wake up like by the beach and feel that cool, salty air and the freshness that comes from the sea. Lots of fishing, lots of olives, lots of fresh produce coming out of that area. But most importantly, looks like people in the Mediterranean are just like taking it really easy, taking it very relaxed, and I could use some of that. And that's where I would like to go. They have a very rich culture, which I would like to get to know a little bit better. So I would say the Mediterranean would be my ideal vacation spot. Plus, who can complain about wearing sandals everywhere you go?
So I gave it some thought, and I think where I would want to go most right now would be to Tonga, American Samoa, Western Samoa, and Tahiti. So the Polynesian islands. One, because the people are just so gracious and wonderful, but two, because I think I would make it a working vacation. I would introduce them to PowerUp and to the PowerUp tools, because I think those communities really would welcome the unifying nature of PowerUp.
For a vacation, I would probably like to go to Jamaica. Yeah, Jamaica, I would like to go there. I've heard a lot of good stuff about Jamaica as far as the weather and the beaches and everything. So I'd probably like to go there and then probably share with them some of the GOGI tools and, you know, our way of life, and maybe introduce them to how we GOGI out here in United States of America.
I think if I had somewhere to go do a vacation, I would like to stay in the United States and go up to Tennessee to the Haley Knox Farm. I had a chance to go visit there with the Children's Defense Funds, and it's a old plantation that they now do a lot of work for the children across the country. But the place is like, man, it's so like peaceful and wide open, have like lakes and just a lot of land, a lot of trees. It's like, it's probably one of the best places I've ever been to. So I would love to get back there just to spend more time there, because it was a trip worth taking.
I think I would be France. I went there a couple of years ago, and I didn't really appreciate it as much as I should have. And there was a beautiful beach, and the water was warm. And I was with my dad, and I would just love to do that again and have a daddy-daughter trip and actually enjoy what's going on and not be a teenager who's pissed off for being with her dad. So, yeah.
I'd say that I'd like to actually take a couple months, and I'd like to go all the way from Guatemala all the way down into South America. I'd like to go through Central and South America. I've always wanted to do that since I was in high school, and I think a very long road trip through the whole of Central and South America would be what I would do if I had that ability.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody, for sharing. At this time, we're going to get into weekly tool experience. So for those of you who do have a little experience with the GOGI tool 5-second light switch, please share. We'd love to hear how you've used it, how it's worked for you, because there's some people who hear it and like, what is that? So if they can actually see it in action, I think that would be a blessing. Robert, or James?
Yeah, I'll share some. I'll share this because this just happened recently, right? Here in LA, we've been doing like some peace works with Blacks and brown communities, just trying to magnify some peace out here, because the narrative's been put out as far as it's been racial tension. And we say otherwise, right? The folks in this meeting, Black and brown folks. But I had to use my 5-second light switch this week because one of the guys that's instrumental in creating the meeting for the East Coast and the F-13s to have space to have a meeting to bury the beef that they had for so many years. Suddenly, he was snatched off the streets by federal agents with federal charges, right? And I had got a call about what had happened. And so I called my supervisors, and they told me, like, let them know what he needs, because they was ready to get him some kind of legal representation. But I searched and did some more digging, and come to find out it sounded more like this guy was like playing both ends from the middle, right? Still being caught up in criminal mind and criminal activities, but still being out in the community creating peace too. So I didn't want to get my organization involved in something if somebody making bad choices for themselves. So that's when the 5-second light switch was really useful to me, because right now it's a crucial time here in the country, and especially in LA right now. I didn't want to use our resources to represent somebody that's out here doing something bad. So the 5-second light switch really came in good for me. And it's hard to believe like what was true and what's not true, but I felt like if I asked people from this guy community, they would know more than anybody. And the answers that they gave me back, I was like, wow. I was like, wow. But now I can just wish him the best. Wish him the best. He was doing good work out here. He was my cellie when I was inside for a while. So, I just hate to see him get caught up like that. But if it's your own doing and get you in that situation, we have to learn. Especially if we've been through that system one time. That's why programs like this is so valuable, to keep people grounded, keep people focused, to continue to do the right thing. And if they perhaps should have some kind of negative thought, if they're in a right circle like here, they could be put back on the right track that they really want to be on. So, 5-second light switch came in real good because, again, if we would have went in and represented somebody that was really out here being corrupted, then that would have tarnished the whole movement.
Yeah, it's a tool that I use often. It is a very helpful tool for the place that I am now employed, because there's so many ideas, so many things that I have or I know or feelings that come up at this job. For instance, I think it was a couple of days ago, me and Johnny were sitting in a meeting with other counselors, and one thing that I believe in is there needs to be a sense of discipline and structure. So we were having a meeting, and every time we were on topic, some of the other counselors would just like derail the meeting and talk about something completely off topic. And I had to, in the beginning it was humorous, and I had some ideas like, okay, it's fine. And then I had that idea for a while, but as it kept repeating, I swear to you, I must have 5-second light switch at least 10 times in that meeting, simply because I had to keep getting grounded to my values of being empathetic towards them. Maybe they just want to be heard, or they need to get this off their chest, despite the fact that this meeting is going on for 2 hours now. And we haven't covered the first topic, and I think Johnny saw it in my face that I had to keep switching back and forth. I think I'm very expressive with my face, so you can literally see the switch turning off and on, and me committing to the new idea of practicing my values of, being empathetic and listening and patient with them. And, so it's a tool that, I know that has been very helpful at my place of employment, because you're dealing with a lot of different personalities. And in the past, the switch that I was operating on is take everything personal. Now it's quite the opposite, and that's because of a new idea that I'm formulating about people's needs as opposed to my own. So I practice it a lot. I probably hit a record number this week, and that's been my experience of how useful the tool is to come up with a new idea, something that is gonna actually help you train your mind to find the good in every situation, to allow me to specifically just, tap into those resources that I have, my character, the kind of person I want to be. And those are great ideas to have and then to put into action. So that was my experience of the 5-second light switch.
So I actually used it today, and I even Facebook posted about it, because since my situation, I've become a bit of an awfulizer, conspiracy theorist, because I was turned in by someone that I had practically taken care of as a daughter. And because I couldn't lend her some money, she called the authorities on me. So now I just have that thinking that everybody that I make upset or something goes wrong, that they're going to do something evil. And I just have to really just use that light switch and think about the rational side of it. And just because it happened once doesn't mean that it's continually going to happen, but it's just changing that way of thinking. And sometimes that comes into mind. If I say no to somebody, I start to get really anxious and afraid, but I'm using the light switch to make me think that, that's not reality. It happened one time, it's over. I'm not doing anything that could get me in trouble. So there's no reason for anybody to do anything. So it's a great tool for me, using it a lot.
That's actually those are actually my key words for 5-second light switch, old thought, new action. And if I may, really quick, I presented myself at the parole office on Monday. I think it was on Tuesday. And in front of the building, there was obviously a lot of parolees. And you know, I mean, the looks I was getting, it just took me. It just took me there. And I had to use my 5-second light switch because my old thought was to give those looks, you know, my old action was to give those looks right back to them. And my new action was just to ignore it. And I stopped and I'm like, are you serious, Ernie? You're like, you know, you're right in front of the parole office. And this is where a lot of other tools also come into play. But 5-second light switch for a person like me is a big factor in their day because I never used to stop to think. So, you know, when you do, it's very important that we stop and take the time to know what our old actions is and what we're going to replace that with when we're confronted with it. So it's very important. And 5-second light switch, just stop, take a little bit of time and think about what you're going to do.
So at this time, we're going to do a quick activity. So a while back, they used to have T-Mobile. And what they would have is they would have a Fab Five. So you'd be able to put your Fab Five people and call them and all that stuff. What we're going to do right now is I'm going to invite a couple people to put out their hand and identify 5 things that matter the most to them. So before I do that, I want to share a quick story. Me and Robert were facilitating a group at work. We work as alcohol and drug counselors. And there was one gentleman who was saying that, you know what, when I leave here, I'm just gonna get high, and you know, I don't really know how to stop. And so I asked him, I invited him to put out his hand, and I told him, so for myself, this is what I do every morning when I wake up. I put out my hand and I identify the 5 things that matter the most. One is my relationship with God, my wife and family, my sobriety. My mother had passed while I was incarcerated, so we're waiting to spread her ashes over the ocean. That matters to me. And you may not be able to tell by looking at me, but I like to eat. So I want to just be able to go and see something in the commercial, be like, come on, babe, let's go get that. So those are the 5 things that matter the most to me. So I invited him, excuse me, to identify the 5 things that matter the most to him. He did the 5 things. And I said, so what happens if somebody offers you a syringe of heroin? What do you have to do? He's like, I have to open my hand. And I said, you're letting go of the 5 things that you say matter the most to you. And if you notice, you didn't say getting high was one of the things that matter the most to you. So to be able to share these tools with these gentlemen and you know, kind of like they were like, oh, like they just discovered gold. I was like, good Lord. And this is probably more valuable than gold. So that's the amazing thing is when you start looking at things in your life and you gain these tools and not only gain them, but you start applying them, like there's so much benefit and life turns out so much different. And working as alcohol and drug counselors, like everything begins with the thought. My old thought is like, okay, I'm upset, I'm gonna get high. My girl wants to leave, I'm gonna get high. Like you need to find something different because that hasn't worked. And to know that there's other ways to do it, and to have Robert there, and Jonathan used to be with us. And there's a guy who came, Sam Cunningham. He came and spoke. And we have people like James comes and speak, and you know, we're gonna invite Ernie, and to be able to give these guys, excuse me, examples of what transformation looks like. And we do it through GOGI. So thank you for that. So a couple people would like to share their Fab 5.
I just want to say that I love everybody's scenario about the 5-second light switch. I mean, I'm hearing everybody speak and I'm like, whoa, I remember experiencing something similar to that. It's just amazing how we incorporate the 5-second light switch and still keep its foundation. But I love the way you said that, Johnny, about raising your hand like this, because while I was working with the women at CRDF, you know, I would teach them the tools of GOGI, and that would I would see them, you know, having a hard time in the module, either with themselves, they got bad news, or with another client. Is just raise a hand like this, because they also knew what that meant. But what I loved about the 5-second light switch, what I love about it for me is that I know that once I say in my mind 5-second light switch, that means I'm present. I'm in the moment. And I'm already in the success of the tool. As long as I know I'm in that from old thought to new action, and I'm thinking of those 5 things, which would be my freedom, my relationship with God, because without my freedom, I have my relationship with God wherever I am, but I need my freedom to be able to be of service, to show God exactly how much I appreciate him. Of course, my family, my children. And also too, I love to eat, but I love staying healthy lately, trying my best to do so. And just learning about me, the sober me, you know, who I really am, because it's only going to be 13 years that I'm sober. And I'm really learning to appreciate who I am, not being afraid of, you know, the things that have been in my past before. But definitely those are my 5 fabs. And for the women, they always were inclusive of their freedom, because, you know, freedom covers a lot of area, but it's solely to be free, like you said, to see something on TV and say, you know what, let's go there, let's check that out. Without that, it's really hard to exist. But those are my 5 fabs.
My Fab 5, I would start with family, my parents and my siblings. Second, I would start with my my health, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, all of that, just overall well-being. Third, I say my freedom as well. I've never had a physical incarceration, but I've struggled for years with the prison of the mind. So I GOGI's helped me with that. So I want to hold on to that. Fourth would be experience. And I don't know if that's too broad, but I found that I've spent a lot of time over the past 20 years just staying afloat, you know, making ends meet. And I think I'd like to get to a point in my life where I get to go out and experience something other than being just in that lane, meet other people, go other places, experience different culture, and get into the minds of folks, not just in the United States, all over, and get to have those conversations, but in other parts of the world. And I hope that coronavirus doesn't keep us from being able to do that in the future, because I think that I'm at a point now where I can maybe have some of those experiences. So I say experience outside of my own world and my own bubble. And then this kind of is already covered in my well-being, but I want to say spirituality. So like many people have said, God for them. For me, it's being very grounded in myself and applying these tools daily. We're talking about 5-second light switch, and I use this tool the moment I wake up all throughout the day to check myself and check my thoughts. So my spirituality would be the other important part. That's it.
Thank you so much. So at this time, we're going to state our weekly intention.
Today, I am going to commit that this next week, I'm going to share with no fewer than 10 people the magic of the 5 and help them to find their 5. So this week, I'm committed to sharing that.
I am really on a mission to create discipline in my life, create new, more positive habits, and stick to it and feel good about that. So being more specific than that, probably something to do with my eating habits and maybe exercise. So it's so important during this coronavirus time, I think.
I'm going to bounce off of what you said and kind of staying healthy. Like, I started being more active lately, and it's like I can feel my muscles have deteriorated a bit. And I think just making sure that I am going outside, going on hikes and working out. I also want to set in stone my 5-second light switch and utilize it, because I'm new to GOGI, kind of. So
this week I'll stay committed to trying to spread love, peace, happiness in the world, trying to give everything that I can to make the world a better place, trying to stay committed to being a good father to my kids, a good spouse to my wife, and just an overall good person, period. And trying to put out positive energy into the world so that positive energy will come back to me.
Yeah, my intentions this week is to just stay consistent with like trying to reach guys on the inside, and I wish I had some kind of resource to reach the women on the inside, because why we want to get in touch with them is because we are connecting them with some attorneys that's been assigned to file litigation due to the COVID situation, especially like in San Quentin. And but like I say, I like from everything I do to be co-ed, you know, so it would be great if I could this week find inside connection where I can get some names of women and get them also connected to these attorneys, so they can get some relief for being in this situation where they can't do no social distancing in there, and a lot of folks is coming down with the COVID. So I just want to magnify that even more so this week.
My commitment, my statement of intention for the week is to get committed again to actually doing some physical exercise. I think I've been really neglecting myself physically. When I come back from work, I come back pretty late and then put in a couple of extra hours where it really depletes me. And, you know, I like getting up early, but that hasn't been the story lately. So I'm committing to starting to flipping the switch and getting myself ready with the idea that I will start getting up early and taking care of myself physically. And that's my intention for the week. And hopefully every preceding week after that.
I really need to continue with a 5-second light switch. I didn't even really realize that's what I was doing this week, but as we're going through everything in the house, and I have a trash pile, and I have a donation pile, and I have the things I'm going to pack, my ideas are different than my husband's ideas, and I'm not allowed to touch his stuff. We've been together for 34 years, but there's his stuff and her stuff, you know? But I almost made the mistake of trying to get rid of something, and he said, look, inside here is the invitation to my grandmother's wedding. That's many, many years ago, because my husband's 79. So his grandmother's wedding invitation, and I had to like stop, okay, let him take care of his stuff, be okay with it. It'll all work out, even though we're paying a lot of money for a storage facility. Maybe when we take the stuff from the storage facility, maybe then he'll want to throw a few things away. But I really have to concentrate on stop, let him do what he wants to do, and proceed and try to get this all done.
I'm also going to focus on that 5-second light switch because of what I discussed earlier, and also focus on another GOGI tool of positive thoughts, and just continue to seek that employment and believe God that, you know, in his timing, it's going to happen. And until it happens, that he'll take care of me and my family, and just get rid of the negative thoughts and a little bit of the, I guess I'll call it paranoia about, you know, conspiracy theory and all that, and just believe that God has a plan and no one can stop it. And what's for me is for me.
So my intention is I'm going to piggyback off of Coach Taylor and also try and share with as many people as I possibly can about the PowerUp meeting and about the 5-second light switch. I know today a cousin of mine is going to come over, and I saw her for 4th of July, and she had given me the news that her son, who I've known since he was born, is facing 50 years right now. And our eyes just kind of locked, and we sat there in silence and just stared at each other. And the conversation didn't go any further than that. I think we were both in our own pain. Of course, I embraced her and hugged her. But I think today I'm going to try and open up that conversation and see how I can possibly help her, and reach out to you, Coach Johnny, to see how maybe, you know, we can help her help him. And just be totally mindful and present and in the now is what I intend to do, and pay attention to how I can implement my 5-second light switch within myself and help my 14-year-old daughter also utilize the tools this week.
I'm going to piggyback on that about being in the now and using my 5-second light switch to be really cognizant of when I can say no or when I can say yes to things that come up in my life, whether through work or personally. And I'm also going to turn off the news and pick up a book.
My intentions for the week are to stay busy. I went and bought some metal, so I'm going to get to use my welder. So I'm going to be like a little kid playing this week, welding. But I also want to just remind myself to be patient. I can't find a job because Homeland Security hasn't contacted me yet, and they told me not to contact them. They said that they will contact me. So I catch myself breathing harder and my heart beating faster when I start thinking about working. So I'm just gonna, I'm doing home repairs right now on my mom's place and my sister's house, and just remind myself to give back. Yesterday I did an oil change for somebody, and she put money in my hand when I least expected it, but I have full intentions of putting them in her ashtray, putting the money back in her ashtray next time I see her. If there's something that I can do, that I'm able to do it, I do it freely, and I don't want to get compensated for it unless I'm fully employed. So, and I also want to send 2 letters out to people that are incarcerated, just for support, and just hopefully it can keep them on the right path. Thank you.
So thank you, everybody. This time we're going to unite with our GOGI Pledge of Service.
May our commitment to the study of GOGI grant us the joy of giving and receiving, so that our inner freedom may be of maximum service to those that we love and infinite others.
So thank you, everybody, for participating in today's PowerUp meeting. At this time, I'm going to pass it back to Coach Catherine.
Thank you, Coach Johnny, and all the PowerUp First participants. And thank you all out there for joining us. We hope you will return often for these PowerUp community meetings. Ask others to join you in the study of GOGI and continue to find ways to apply what you've learned. We look forward to spending time with you in the future. Have a great day, everybody.
You too. Thank you. God bless everybody.
God bless you. Happy birthday. One more thing before we
Thank
leave.
you. Happy birthday.
One more thing before we leave, we need to sing somebody happy birthday.
Oh,
Maria.
Oh, yeah, Maria.
Happy birthday
to
to you.
Happy
birthday
to
you.
Happy
Happy
birthday
Mother
to you.
Happy birthday to
you.
yay! Thank you.
You're welcome.
Happy birthday, Maria.
Thank you so much, everybody. God bless you. Have a beautiful week on purpose.